bone meal and blood meal. Honestly, I'm surprised why bone meal would be present together with all other fertilizers, just major fertilizers, so readily available. But let's take the first one, the blood meal. What it is? It is a byproduct of all the slaughter operations, and it is basically a dry blood of animals, which is extremely high on the first number, nitrogen. And of course, nitrogen is needed by the plants in spring, but that number can be so high that it can be very easily abused by the gardener without knowing. So, of course, numbers differ from different producers, but as a rule, the number is 12 of nitrogen and then 0, 0. So 12 is kind of high. And if gardener doesn't know how much to apply, or again, the more the better, gardeners, we think the more we add, the better our plants to behave, we can create the environment where there's too much of nitrogen and our plants might suffer. So that, I would say, this is my 5 cents, the biggest negative of blood meal is that it can be easily overused and overapplied. And then the gardener hurts the plants instead of helping them to grow. Another negative of blood meal is that it is a quick release fertilizer. So we have to be careful in a humid, warm climates where that fertilizer can break so quickly that it actually can hurt the roots of the plant and burn the roots of our roses. It's relatively inexpensive, easily available. The reports are that it can repel rabbits and deer from your garden, which is very good. Easily applied. It can be applied in a liquid or powdery form, which is also very convenient. The negative can be that it can attract cats and dogs and raccoons to the garden because they're sniffing something tasty maybe in your garden. So that can be negative if you have a lot of wildlife. Gardeners who buy blood meal, please keep in mind that it is not a complete fertilizer. Again, 1200, can be dusty. And again, overusage can create really problems for the soil and for your plants. Bone meal fertilizer also is advised by a lot of gardeners to use during planting and growing roses. And bone meal is a primary source of calcium and phosphorus. And when farmers are growing a lot of produce on the soil, that soil can be deprived of those elements. But the truth is, science shows that a lot of garden soils where we, private gardeners, garden, those soils are not deprived of those elements. Again, too much of stuff is not good. It can really disturb the balance of the soil. Remember, 25% of all living things live in the soil. That's a huge amount of diversity. And if we add something without thinking, we really can create this balance. And as a result, our plants are going to suffer. Next fertilizer we're going to discuss would be humic acid. And it's a carbon-rich product which is left behind after many years of decomposition of organic matter like animal remains, plant remains. And it usually exists in the form of liquid, but when liquid dried up, it also can be used as a dry formula which has all the benefits of a liquid form. So why humic acid is good for our soils? The first great benefit of humic acid would be that it improves the soil ability to hold onto nutrients. The second one would be it improves the crumb structure of the soil, and as a result, the water retention is enhanced and the oxygen distribution of the soil is also improved. And we have to remember that oxygen is very important for the soil. The buildup of soil consists of 25% of oxygen, and if that number goes down, the root system of the plant is suffering, and as a result, the performance of our beloved rose is not going to be there. The third great benefit of humic acid is that it can buffer high or low pH of the soil. And why is that? You know, when the pH is not suited to the growth environment of the plant, that plant is not growing well in that pH level, and usually it is very acidic or very alkaline, then what happens, the plant cannot take the nutrients from the soil. Nutrients are there, but plant is not capable to uptake them. And the presence of humic acid serves as a buffer in those situations and helps the plant to take nutrients even in not suited pH of the soil. So extensive research in the last 25 years, scientific research shows that humic acids help to break down the compacted soil and enhance the life of soil. So bottom line, from scientific point of view, humic acids a very good fertilizer for our soils. Interesting fertilizer. It's actually a fungi which has a very symbiotic relationship with the plant. And since we are talking about roses, let's talk about that. So when we add mycorrhizal fungi into the soil, or if those fungi already exist in soil, what they do, they extend the root system of the plant, and as a result, our roses have access to more nutrients and more water. In exchange, these fungi feed on sugars which the roots of the plant produces for them. So they get a little candy back. Now, recently, the development in research shows that there are several caveats, again, with these mycorrhizal fungi. They were very popular 15-20 years ago, and a lot of rose nurseries were offering it as an inoculant for soil, where we plant our roses especially. They are offered by David Austin website too, and if you, I believe last year I bought my Roald Dahl rose, and because I bought 5 of them, I received 2 or 3 bags, I believe, or 1, I forgot, of mycorrhizal fungi. But the research now is showing that those fungi are very easy to die in the shaping process. They are very sensitive to disturbance. And if we disturb the soil, we disturb that very intricate relationship with the plant. Another negative about mycorrhizal fungi is that they are plant-specific. They create their own relationship with the soil, and your garden can have very specific fungi present in the soil. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Another thing, positive one I would say, if we develop a good structure of the soil, good health of the soil, those mycorrhizal fungi are already present in our soil. They already formed a relationship with plants. They're already feeding, giving that plant nutrients and access to water. And maybe not necessarily we do need to add extra fungi to the soil. So extensive research in the last 15-20 years shows that maybe mycorrhizal fungi is not necessary. Again, if you are coming into very depleted soil, where there are no worms, you know that there is no health in that soil, maybe it would be beneficial for you to invest into mycorrhizal fungi and introduce those into your soil. But otherwise, if your garden is healthy, there is no need to do that extra step. And the last one we are going to talk about would be my favorite. They're not fertilizers, although some gardeners think that they are. And I'm talking about amendments, natural soil amendments. And the biggest ones of them would be manure and compost. Why they are not fertilizers? Because they're very low in nutrients, fairly low. The one cow manure, which I buy from our local garden center, is, I believe, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, so low numbers. And especially for roses, which are again beautiful heavy feeders, the presence of only compost or manure is not enough for great performance. But what these soil amendments do, they enhance again the life of soil. And healthy soil creates healthy plants, right? That's very important to keep in mind. So they enhance the structure of the soil, they enhance the presence of microbes and bacteria and fungi and all other things in the soil. And as a result, that soil feeds the plants and our roses are blooming so wonderfully. You know what? I pruned this beautiful climber of mine, and I'm trying to train it in somewhat horizontal shape, but I'm not really very successful. This climber has very stubborn, thick stems. But this video is coming to the end, and I'm really hopeful that it was helpful, especially for the beginner rosarians, beginner gardeners, that when you come in the garden center, you're not going to be overwhelmed with all the options on the market. Happy gardening! Please do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again.